I'm Shawna Lee. This is Infinity Readings, and this is the reading for Taurus for spirituality for January of 2026. I wanted to say 2021, which is weird, but I don't know, need to mention that. So, Happy New Year. Hope everything's going well, and we will get into the cards. I also have to mention, during shuffling, I heated up a lot. And usually what that means is either that person or people of that sign, they're needing a lot of energy at this time, is the sense. And hopefully that gets through to you in whatever shape or form, because the sense that I get is that energy flowing. Your guides are with you, and maybe you need to hear that. Okay, we'll get started here. Taurus, your first card from the Gaia deck, having to do with your recent past energy, is about faith. Isn't that interesting? Okay, 24, faith. Yes, that gives a great groovy energy right here. Yellow is also a symbol to me about friendship and positive vibes and sending things out. It's about compassion. It's about healing in a subtle way. I feel the soft energy here in our past. Now, did we recognize this is what I'm getting. As we move forward, that's a really groovy energy. The crane is really, I get a stern energy from the crane. Is like to move forward in this compassion. But I feel like either the Taurus is doing something to disrupt this, or somebody outside of the Taurus is doing something in this way. It like there's an abruption here. I say that. I don't think that's a word, but something is creating kind of a havoc. Okay, that's our past, faith. That's a good card overall. As we move into the present, what's the card we get from the Gaia? We have a knowledge. That's always a good card as well. It means we're gaining knowledge. We're trying to understand something more deeply. We are looking at our past to do it. We may even be trying to understand what kind of faith to land on. We may be spiritually lost in a way of knowing which faith to pursue, to follow. Yeah, I'm getting this. And worst to worst, if you don't know where to land, just have faith that there's something there. You kind of, sometimes you don't have to label it, but I get the feeling, Taurus, trying to label it. Where do I belong? Where do I want? What do I? And we may have, or we may be gaining knowledge at this time to see where it is we fit. Again, another trying to fit in here. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of simple. We're really looking to understand what kind of faith we want to come from here. So finding our way spiritually is really what I get. So as we move into the future, what happens there? The Mother card. The Mother card is about a mother figure. It could be about pregnancies. It could be about life-changing stuff as well. The sense I'm getting is, yes, pregnancy, and then they said, is a life-changing effect upon us. And it may be the guiding force that drives us to find a deeper faith in something more, because we are bringing, children into the world, that kind of thing. So that's deep. And that's, that just may be the path you're on. Okay, so let's get into the second row here and see what happens. So again, and I feel like either we had a faith that we came from, that either we want to tweak it some way, or we want to refine it some way, or we maybe don't agree and we want to switch faiths in some kind of way, meaning denominations, right? In that kind of thing. So I feel like it's not like we're giving up faith altogether. I think we're trying to stick with it, but we're trying to make it more to our taste, okay? So on top of that faith card of the past, the Pulp Tarot card is Six of Wands. That's a great celebratory card. It's also a great card of being in being acknowledged for something. Now, did we... Yeah, I'm getting a sense that our faith carried with it some celebration of us being in this way. Like I get a sense that somebody's picking a religion because of all of the accolades they get from everybody saying good job, da da da. And I feel like whether or not we're going to stick with that, I don't know. But I get a sense of looking into it more deeply to see if we want to do that, which is never a bad thing. But where are we going to go here? I feel in the past, our faith, it was like we became a fan. But people were a fan of us because of the choices we made having to do with faith, okay? So I'm getting a sense of kind of like an ego sense here, so we got to be careful there. But 9, the knowledge, going back to that faith. I feel like if it is because of that, we're going to correct that, is what I get. Now, knowledge. On top of that card, what do we get from the pulp tarot? Because the pulp, it don't cut no corners. It just chops them off and we get the answer. And the devil's here. Yeah. Okay. So when we have the devil, it means it's an excessive amount of stuff going on here. Knowledge. Maybe too much knowledge for our own good. We may be taking and dispersing things and breaking things apart to a degree where the details are overwhelming. Okay. How do I say? Like a lot of times too, I'll tell you a story about my son. I was like, well, because I keep saying I'm non-denominational. So I don't really pick one religion because every time I do, there are things that don't grate with me. Am I picky and, weird in that way? Probably. So it's not like I'm perfect and everything has to line up with me. It's just, I feel very strongly about what I should and shouldn't believe in that way. And I feel like the Taurus is on that track too. And I think that we may be getting called down into the minutia, right? Even though I think we are of good-hearted faith to come from. Because this feeling, it's there. I just feel there's a part of us that gets caught up in the details and it has to back off. So like when my son, okay, I'm going to drop a whole religious thing on you. My family, like I have, my parents were not specifically religious, a Catholic, but they're not specifically, they didn't go to church unless there was a wedding or, that kind of thing, that we weren't that kind of family. But the parents of my father's side, very strictly, every day it was a part of their life. So, and I actually had to, I think there's part of my spiritual learning. I had lived with my grandparents for a series of months, and I was forced to go to church. And at the time, I didn't know where I sat religiously, though I was baptized in, or whatever you call it, christened under God. I myself didn't choose a particular place in that way. And in fact, when I was a teenager, right, I was very rebellious. So I would revolt against anybody trying to push me in any direction that way. I just didn't feel ready for it. And so you don't say no. People of the church, you cannot. So I went, I don't say respectfully as a 13, 14-year-old, you're not respectful for the most part. You don't understand all of those things. But I was forced in the church. I listened. There, and what I didn't like there was that there was judgment upon those that didn't go to church, and that just threw me off. So I went, I don't know, I was being forced because I couldn't say no. They wouldn't allow it. You go to church out of respect. So I learned that there, right, with my grandparents. And I respected them because I told them I was an atheist, which I truly didn't know what I was. I just said atheist because it's the farthest from the religion. Part of my character back then was revolting against any authority whatsoever. So, in my doing this, right, it's like, leave me alone. I don't believe nothing, right? So, even though I really didn't know what I wanted to believe. And I feel like that's the thing here. And I also feel like we may be even getting pulled into darker energy in the minutia of trying to figure out the details. Now, as I grew into that, I was, removed from that situation of having to go to church every day. And I just removed myself more from because I saw it as being, what do you call that? Overexposed, like too much, like every day. What are you doing? Like I have better things to do. I can connect with God and nature. Like, why do I have to do this? But that wasn't the way they thought. You got to be in church. You got to be under the, pastor talking to you. You got to, all that stuff. And then the rosary, all that stuff. I was exposed to that. And I just felt like it was obsessive. In my mind, it was obsessive, good obsessed, but this is what I thought. So as I grew, right, I learned that, yes, you got to come from goodness. And as long as you choose goodness, it don't matter what you believe, you're of a good core. And I feel like the Taurus may lose that pinpoint here. I feel like they're getting caught up in this religion, that, and they may be seeking a religion and going through their beliefs and all of that. And they're nitpicking to the degree that the devil's coming out and saying, well, I can't, da. And that's what I found as well. And it may be just part of our nature tearing things apart. But again, if we're essentially good, now this devil is right in the center of the reading. So you are dealing with him head on, and you may have a problem facing religion because you got a part of you that's in darkness. Let's go forward here. As we move to the mother energy, again, you may be becoming a parent for the first time, for a second time, but it's a different vibration, whatever. There's something here that is life-changing, that is making you rethink the idea of faith, okay? On top of the mother energy, what do we get from that ability to kind of transform things? The Lover's card. Oh, okay. Maybe joining up with someone here who is of faith. So we're trying to conform to that. That's that kind of twisting of the arm feeling I got. That's interesting. Well, nothing happens for no reason kind of thing. This is here for a reason. You're attracted to this lover. They may have a different faith. You may be following that and feeling uncomfortable, but it is there to introduce you to energy to align you for your highest good. Now, I don't think the church itself is bad. I mean, there's things going on you don't even want to. But when you talk about, going to church, it's never really a bad thing. It gets you in line with some of the rules, right? It's the judgment and stuff that I have a problem with. As I judge against the right? It's hard to go without that. But nonetheless, the Lovers is here. I feel like we get a partner whose belief system is different than ours, having to do with faith and whatnot. I feel like we may be looking up. We may even be looking to our past. I feel like in our past, we had a faith that we got celebrated for. And I feel like this lover may be different. Okay? Give me a moment here. But again, it's right in between. We got the Six of Wands celebrating our past. The Devil's here right in the center. So he's everywhere you look. He's there. And we may not understand that on a level completely. And the resistance, go to the resistance and see where that's at. Because he's here for sure. Now the Lovers, yeah. Let's get into the third row, the Metatron cards. I don't know if we'll get underneath this. Go to the past again. We have a faith we were celebrated for. On top of that, Six of Wands, the Metatron card we get is Divine Union. Oh. Okay. Yeah. So, no matter what your faith, you may be coming across a partner here that you are meant to be with. And you may be feeling that quite highly because you are going to such extremes here, like in a faith area. Again, this could either be you highly in faith and somebody else not, or vice versa, But there's a union here for your greater good above all else. Now, what do we get on top of the Devil? I'm interested to see. Octahedron, integration, and air. That is not good when we're talking about the Devil. Because that means the Devil is going to integrate into your knowledge here, your knowledge base. Now, give me moments. Eights can be about looping behavior, can also be about evolution behavior, depending which road you take. I feel like we're trying to gain knowledge, but I feel like it's driven by the Devil. Like there's something irritating about why we're gaining this knowledge. Is for argument, for getting underneath, for opposing people. This is what I'm getting. This could be in the air period. You know what I'm saying? Because people at this time, whether you're good or bad, it kind of doesn't matter. It's like, what's your denomination? No, it does not denomination. Are you a good person or are you a bad person? Let's back out here a little bit, you know? This is kind of what I'm getting here. A need to back away from the details. Because if we're choosing religion, just allow things to happen to a certain degree. Sometimes we don't have to pick a lane. We can just resonate at good frequency. You know, like I call it kind of the Buddha path. It's just, you just resonate in peace and quiet and nice and niceness. And when you go out, be nice and that kind of stuff. And you don't necessarily have to pick a lane. But as long as you resonate with this niceness, eventually that devil's going to get bored and go somewhere else. But I feel like somebody's either researching a religion or critiquing their partner's religion or breaking things apart. It's creating a wedge where there need no wedge to be, where there doesn't need to be a wedge, you know. And this is what is, the thing that religion is here for. Well, again, created or not created, right? Integration. So the devil will be integrated in your way forward. And this is what is pushing you and driving you to get to the minutia of everything, the details. And just be aware of that. The devil's in your, the devil tail's coming out of your coat. As we go forward, how do we solve this mother energy? Again, if we're bringing children into this earth, we have a new lover, a partner here who we want to, I feel like we're on a precipice of change. I think the universe is changing the vibrational frequency. I think the earth itself is changing its frequency. We're attached to the earth, so we are advancing, and other things outside of us help us advance forward. We gain a new lover. What on top of that? We get the yin and yang, the law of balance. So not only will this relationship change us, but the child will change us and everything will change. That is, because when we get yin yang and divine union, that means God-given or whatever you want to call it, right? Universal forces. There is a law above everything. It is written here to find your other half. This may be your other half, that kind of thing. Duality. I feel like the duality has to do with all these differences that we have betwixt us. And there are going to be differences because the reason you get a divine union is to accept those differences in others. And if we pick them apart, the devil's there saying we're not going to have this relationship, nor are we going to have this family type setting that we want for our life and our way forward. I feel like Taurus, we're on the verge of it here. We've met upon a divine partnership and we're wanting to change for it. And that's all integral in our way forward. Let's go to the fortune card here before I put my foot in my mouth. The Fool. There it is. Have courage to embrace change, take risks, and be adventurous. I think just release from the details, right? And just overall be a good person. What is it? The dude, the reaction dude. He says, just be a good human. It's like, just be good and everything will fall into place. There's a time and a place for details, but I feel like now the way the world is, I think we need to be that eagle flying over a lot of crap, frankly. And the Fool is here to give you that courage to go forward, embrace new change, take new risks, and be adventurous. Yeah, away you go, naked to the world. Keep that in mind. Don't try and hide or be something you're not. But at the same time, be careful how negative we could possibly be about things that kind of don't matter. So Taurus, that's your spirituality reading for January of 2026. I hope that helped you in some kind of way. This is interesting because, like I said, when I shuffle cards, sometimes things happen, sometimes things don't. But I had a lot of energy here, and it's somebody that's willing to change their life, and they just have to keep stepping in the good direction. That's all you have to do. The devil is very close to you for some odd reason. I think it's because they can get that Taurus worked up quite a bit. You have to just get grounded in your earth energy and say, I will not get worked up. I'm not going to get lost in the details. And I'm going to go forward where my heart wants me to go. And that will serve you. So take care, Taurus. That is your reading. for spirituality for January of 2026. Take care, have fun, and be kind.